journey it's been, from having to hit the pavement to being the pavement. Like everyone, I grew up mesmerized by the stories on the big screen. I studied them, but this is a plot twist I never anticipated. I mean, in the movies, if you were told you were getting your feet in your footprints in cement, that meant that two tough guys in fedoras would throw you in the trunk of the car and drop you off at the pier in the water. I'm almost certain that's not going to happen to me today, but you never know. There's never enough time to thank all the people who have been so helpful along the way, but I must mention a few. One of these thrills is knowing my slab of concrete will end up near the one made by the brilliant and beautiful woman who introduced me, my dear friend. I sported a klute hairdo for 2 years. And I remember the first night she came backstage at the Ahmed Center when I was playing, and she swept in a big cape, and she looked so glamorous, and she probably had a bunch of leaflets in her pocket she was going to pass out to the audience. And I was so thrilled that she came because, and unfortunately the klute era had, my hair, I had to make a different hairdo, and so she never even got to see it. Jane Fonda. And of course, there's no way I would be here today without the love, support, and genius of my partner, writer Jane Wagner. So far on the side. George Schlatter saw me on the Gary Moore Show in 1969. And he invited me to be on his show to join the cast of Laugh-In. Seemingly overnight, I went from spending my days typing up market research at the Plaza Hotel, to which I had to enter from the servant's door in the basement because hippies were not allowed in the lobby. And I went to co-starring on the most revolutionary comedy variety show of its era. George, I am eternally grateful. I love you. And Jolene, his wonderful wife, I just adore Jolene. She's here with George today, and I'm so happy to see you both. Marta Kaufman and Howard Morris had this radical belief that women don't outgrow desire and friendship and humor and relevance. And they created Grace and Frankie, and like all visionaries, they didn't play the game, they changed the game. Yeah. And we became the longest running series in Netflix history. And thanks to my friend, writer, director, Paul Weitz, forgive me, Paul, I'm so sorry, that bird was threatening. Who followed up our film, his film that he directed and wrote, Grandma and Admission. And I was sitting on the set one day and I called him up and I said, Paul, why don't you write Jane Fonda and me a movie? And by gosh, he did. And that's been shot, and it's gonna come out, and I'm very anxious for you to see it all. It's a revenge movie. And thanks to everyone involved in our current film, 80 for Brady, where Jane and I are joined by Rita Moreno, who's sitting here in the front row, and Sally Field. And the four of us are in our 80s. Now, Rita and Sally both take exception to that rule because Sally is only 75 and Rita's 90 something or other. And so we compromise. compromise and we just said 80. And our collective age is 332 years. And we love it. I mean, it's so wonderful to be with Jane and Rita and Sally. And you know, you feel like we're like making a teen movie, like a beach blanket movie. I mean, they're so young, they're so vibrant, they're so alive and wonderful. And there must be great stories and great parts for women at every stage of their lives. I send love and gratitude to the countless friends and colleagues I've worked with over the years. My thanks to everyone at the TCM Classic Film Festival and the TCL Chinese Theater. And I learned that TCL stands for the Creative Life, and that's a perfect name. I've been thinking about the legends who had this honor bestowed on them over the years and found a way to make this experience truly their own. I'm today wearing my new white Converse tennis shoes, but I'm also adding a little something special as this little creature has walked beside me for years. I phoned Edith's mother and I asked her to send me a pair of Edith. Edith got on the phone and she said,
"Yes, it would be fun if I could be there, but I'm very busy."
And so I'll be putting her little Converses in cement next to mine. And what a thrill to join a club comprised of such Hollywood icons as Bette Davis, Judy Garland, and Roy Rogers' horse, Trigger. There's just one thing I'm wondering, since 1927, when silent screen star and producer Norma Talmadge accidentally walked through a slab of wet cement and started this tradition. There have been about 300 imprints, and that means that there are more slabs of concrete than there is room in the forecourt. I totally get that. I mean, they take those slabs and they switch them in and out over time, but it would be kind of ironic if one day, years from now, they're reshuffling the cement blocks, and mine ended up locked in a closet. Better it than me. Thank you all so much. This is an honor